and look down. I believe it's been said that if you conquer your fear, you can then conquer your anger. And if you inflict yourself with pain, the less pain others can inflict upon you. I'm looking at this from the Stoic Bible. You have passed through life without an opponent. No one can ever know what you are capable of, even you. So, opponents are part of life. You know, I shared a video with Joe, and I forget. Let me take a look here. I just want to. Just observe here. It was from Flex Rex, and it was the real threat of inceldom. And I'm not going to get into that video, but Flex Rex has a lot of good videos. And anger and fear, that is correct. And Republic of Liberty says, open your right eye, please. Yes. An angry man comes in, tells me to open my right eye. Or maybe he's not an angry man. So we have Darren saying anger and fear. Anger and fear. Republic of Liberty says open your eye, your right eye. Debbie Daly says hello, Mr. Midnight Movie. You know, one of the names I come across is. Donning Armour says ahoy, well wishes all around. Thank you, Donning. And I think he's ignoring me. Why? I don't know. Well, no, I'm not ignoring you now. I will give this man a link, see what he has to add and say, if anything. I will, if I have to enact rules, I shall. But let's continue. I'm giving him a link. So fear and anger, and I plan on trying to conquer my fear and conquer my anger. And Debbie says, oh no, here we go. And that, I've never heard that word before. That is a new one, High Ridge Estates. So I'm waiting for irritability time. Does that mean he's going to be irritated? I've not heard that word before. We have the 12 angry Jews. Howard.
Look at how pleased you are. You can't even hide your strange, erotic excitement at my entering the show.
Well, I see that you are here. And
I'm definitely here.
Yes.
You're definitely there.
That is correct. And last show I had to remove you because you
No, that was the show before the last show.
Yeah.
And I don't call these shows. I call these little abortions, like not quite a stroke, but a mini stroke.
Now,
of a show.
Howard, you do often come on when I do send you a link. You often come on to insult me in my show, but yet you're here. Why?
I haven't insulted you. I've just insulted your abortion of a show.
Okay, you've insulted the show, but you're here on my show. Why?
I have been trying to get you to abandon this format. It doesn't become you. It's not your strength. Your strength is talking about movies, not about stoicism, because you have no idea what stoicism is. You lose your stoicism, if you even had it, within seconds of my arriving. And when I'm not on your show, you talk about me as if I was, which gives me great joy.
Would you say that you're a bit of a sadist?
Yes.
Is that do you think Ayn Rand was a sadist?
I don't know. What would be the relevance of that?
Because you tend to follow her philosophy.
Well, I don't walk around in a wig and try to look like her either. So why would you assume that I would be exactly like her?
It wasn't an assumption. It was just a question. Well, it was a
No.
question,
It was
and
a question based on an assumption. A
perhaps
wrong assumption, but it was a question based on an assumption. I don't know why I have to be like anybody else. I can take the ideas of Ayn Rand and adapt them to me, which is what I've done.
does being a sadist, do you like it? I mean, does it help you in your life? Do you enjoy it?
Well, I didn't say that I was. I just agreed with your statement.
You agreed that you are a sadist.
You asked me, and I said yes.
So you want to try to convince me to do movies. I do this show. I got to say that I do this show primarily because I'm not a stoic person. I'm very emotional, and I'm trying not to be. And
So why pretend?
uh, well, I don't feel that improving is pretending, or trying to improve is pretending.
No, but why this pretense of stoicism? You pretend to be stoic when you're not. You're not capable of it. You're way too emotional, way too fearful. I must help you alleviate your fears.
Dennis mentions that he's babysitting a turtle.
Yes, he's probably going to cook it later, so I
And,
wouldn't worry about the turtle.
yeah. So, yeah, you feel that I will never obtain any form of stoic enlightenment. Is that correct?
No, I think at this stage in your life, if you haven't attained it, you're not going to attain it. It's just not going to be possible.
Have you?
I'm stoic right now, am I not?
Am I not as well?
No. Why did you bat your eye at me?
If I did, it wasn't intentional. I mean, no,
Well, whether or not it was intentional, you did it.
well, I did not. I did not. Yeah. Well, it had no meaning. It was an involuntary action.
Everything you do has a meaning. If you've ever watched the body language ghost on YouTube, as she discusses and views other people's body language, you would know that everything you do has meaning, including the way you drink that water. That little smile you put on your face when I told you the truth, that you realize that I'm telling you what you already know. Deep down, you know it, and it bothers you that I know it.
Should your opinion have any weight on? Do other people's opinion have any weight on you, Howard?
those were two questions. One you didn't quite finish, but I'll finish it for you. You put a lot of weight on my opinion. I represent the power. I destroyed your nemesis god, Mr. Solution. I made him tuck tail and run. And you admire me for it.
Do uh, do you do other people's opinions have any weight on you?
Some.
Is there anything that you regret with your behavior?
See, you say the word your behavior without any context or any bracketing of the idea. You
Oh,
just throw
all
it
right.
out there. Well, no, you throw it out there in a huge context. So, my answering that would be that would be akin to getting on the witness stand and admitting that I killed 20 people.
Okay, Howard. Let me ask you this: is there any time in which that you, as an adult, where you regretted behaving in certain ways?
Again, that's a broad question. You can't hone that down. You can't make that into something that's a little bit more confined, where an answer can be given. You're asking such a broad question, and probably wanting a yes or no answer, and there could not be a yes or no answer because you haven't defined your terms.
Have there been any relationships ruined by your behavior and you felt regret?
Well, if it was a good relationship, of course you feel some regret that the relationship came to an end. I'm thinking of one right now. I won't tell you what that relationship is or was, but of course. However, I do what I do for my own entertainment.
So basically you're on here and you think the show stinks, but when you're on here, you are completely entertained. Is that correct?
I'm entertaining myself.
Okay.
I do everything out of selfishness.
That's true. You do. You mentioned that to me. That's kind of interesting. That I guess perhaps human beings are motivated by.
Tell me something that you do that doesn't do something for you. Name something that you do that's completely altruistic because I say altruism is total crap. Doesn't exist.
You're right on that, Howard. Even being nice to people.
Even taking care of my son, I do it because it makes me feel good.
Yeah,
If it didn't make me feel good, I wouldn't do it.
that is correct.
Even if it's something I don't want to do. See, I recognize that people are selfish. There's nothing wrong with being selfish. It's why when the airplane experiences a drop in altitude and pressure, why they tell you to put the mask on you first and not your children. They have to tell people that.
Now, most people would die for their children. Um,
Well, here's a scenario. If you could think of a scenario where your child is going to die, no matter what, whether you die doesn't make any difference. Your child's still going to die. Would you still die for your child? What would be the point? Now, I haven't thought about how that scenario would be structured. But the philosophical idea of it, if you know that nothing you can do can save the life of your child, why would you give up your life in addition?
Well, that wouldn't make sense. But I do know that the pain of losing a child is an unbearable feeling. And it's like torture to those who've experienced it. And this moment of, he has removed himself. I don't know why. But I don't know if it was a game or not. Howard tends to do that. But sometimes, maybe in Thailand, the computers are not working. So I really do not know whether or not Howard has removed. But I did invite him back on my show. And, I don't agree with the way Howard acts all the time. And particularly when I have other guests on, he acts in ways that are, I would say, a little off-putting. But when it's just me and him, I get, I really don't care what he says. And then we have another person on my show. How are you? R.I.P. Rest in peace. How are you? Rest in peace. You're here.
Yes. My computer spontaneously rebooted. I'm not sure why.
Ah,
It does
but
that. And it only does that when I run Brave, the browser. Didn't do that when I ran Firefox.
yes.
Yes, and I'm not happy about it.
And donning armor, we know Brian a lot more than you. It's the same people knowing you. You can't step in and try to throw us out.
Why do we care what Donning Armour says? He's an idiot.
Okay. I mean, again, why would you be that blunt? Silence again. And yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people that are in my Discord and that have known me through my blog talk and Spreaker days that do have a problem with uh, Donning. And, and Donning says, I haven't thrown anyone out, nor have I tried to. And, look, I'm not a fan of, anyway, some of these arguments that go on. And I'm going to try my best to do things that conquer my fear. And also, I'm fasting right now, and as of now, not eating. And I hope to.
This is a piece of shit. God damn it.
Again, Howard has left again. Stop trying to tell Brian to dump us. Anyway, I'm not trying to dump anybody. I'd like to think I'd like to get along with everybody. And Donning says, please do not dump them, please. Listen, I'm trying to do this for my own good. And if anybody gets anything out of it, then that's great. But as I'm reading from the Stoic Bible, you have passed through life without an opponent. No one can ever know what you are capable of, not even you. Speaking of opponents, 12 angry Jews, one angry Jew, Howard. Howard, You're back again. A computer, someone who is an expert in computers certainly has a lot of problems. Perhaps it is the nation of Thailand that is giving you all of these problems, Howard.
First of all, why'd you mute me? Second, that's just stupid.
I did not mute you.
I'm muted again. Who's muting me? If not
I
you.
am not muting you. I am not muting you.
Well, you say that, but that's not the result here. I'm certainly not muting me. Why would I do that? My voice is the most melodious of the two of us. Debbie has spoken.
She has spoken.
Why did she say that?
I don't know. Now, Nemo says, hello, folks. Hello. Bonus dears, shalom, Hare Krishna. I thought Nemo might be you, but I don't think it is. I'm just here so I won't get fined. So it is gathering up to be rather late. Now, I guess we are going into Ukraine, which I think is hurting my stock portfolio. And I don't like that at all, Howard. And I have not muted you, by the way.
I didn't mute me. This is.
Oh, you are listening. So I think at this point we have come at a pass. Again, I'm fasting as of now. I hope to fast the remainder of the day and not eat anything. And
You won't. There's a ho-ho waiting for you at the 7-Eleven.
Yes. And I always have Howard to encourage me to fail because, that's Howard seems to rejoice in basically putting me down and also putting down my show and telling me what an abortion and my ideas are terrible. And maybe
wait. I never said your ideas were terrible. You have no ideas. You have to laugh at JP, who took everything you said, hook, line, and sinker, and agreed with everything. In other words, you made a claim about me that was unfounded, but he took it as gospel and then started yammering on about it, about how something about being adults or when I was a child, or I don't know what nonsense he's talking about. But he seemed to have been led by you down a path, and he was very eager to do so. Now, as far as you're concerned, so when he was trying to assuage you and tell you how wonderful, that you had great ideas, he said, and you got the title of the show, but he said that before he looked at it. Then the dope realized that you named the show the same thing every time. The only difference is the date. But instead of saying, "Oh, I goofed up," you don't name the show. There was no subject or topic. See, you got angry because I filled your vacuum. You didn't have a topic, so I made one. And you got angry about it, which I find amazing. I did you a favor.
if you think that's what made me upset, you are not.
Do tell what made you upset.
Again, it was the manner in which you came off, and it was the fact that I had set up rules for my show that you broke.
But I'm not a rule follower. You are. You're deathly scared of YouTube. I'm not.
And that is me. I am afraid. I don't want to break the rules. I enjoy being on here.
Well, we should help you.
Help me what?
We should help you overcome this irrational fear. You have limited the ability of your show to communicate and entertain by kowtowing to YouTube and upholding the fear. That's how a lot of things work in the United States. It's through fear. They don't have to do anything. They just have to threaten to do something.
Yes, I don't want to be kicked off of YouTube. What good does that do?
What would happen? What would happen if you got kicked off of YouTube?
I'd find another venue.
Exactly. You might go back to Spreaker, where you had many more people listening than you do on YouTube. Why you think that YouTube is a place to be, I don't know. You're not monetized, so who gives a shit? You should go back to Spreaker or even go back to Blog Talk Radio, and you should do your show there.
Well, again, I mean, there are plenty of venues that I can get on, but I'm also on Rumble as well as on Spreaker, and I wish people would visit the Rumble page, but it's certainly not as popular as YouTube, and I think YouTube is far more popular and seems to be a little bit more easy, more user friendly.
What is your average listening number?
Probably around 30 to 40 people. And I said before, I don't do this, by the way, for popularity. I do this more as a, for myself. And
So this is therapy for you. This is mental therapy.
to a degree, yeah, I could say that.
You use it in a bit like a group therapy session.
When people are on, yes.
Yeah. And I am your therapist.
No, I would disagree with that. I would not have you as a therapist.
Well, you may not have me as a therapist, but I am your therapist.
I would disagree with that.
In a group situation, in a group therapy where you've got possibly 8 to 10 people led by a professional, the therapist who's getting paid isn't necessarily the one who's giving the therapy.
Really? Please go on.
Well, I still think that even though you fear me, I don't know why, and even though you hate what I do, you cannot hide that smile when I come on. You just love it.
Well, as I said before, and if you see on my screen, if you have passed through life without an opponent, no one can ever know what you are capable of, even you. And to a degree, you are an opponent.
How am I an opponent? I keep telling you that you should change it back to the winning show that it was before.
Because you try to derail my stoicism and you try to make me angry.
Okay, those are the same thing, but it doesn't matter. I do it successfully almost each and every time.
Perhaps you do. So every day is a challenge. And
there's no perhaps I do.
You might be right.
And you want me to. That's the other thing. You want me to pierce the veil of your fake stoicism.
So you say.
See, if you read what some people are saying, some people like Dennis says that I am manipulating you. Do you think I'm manipulating you?
Perhaps.
Well, do you or don't you?
I think sometimes you try to have your way. I don't know if it's necessarily the defined definition of manipulation, but you certainly, because I've asked why you don't have your own show and you can talk about your own subjects, but you say when you come on, this becomes my show. So to a degree, it may not be a manipulation, but you're trying to take control.
But you're under the impression that I just do it to you. I do it to everybody.
And do you think those are admirable qualities?
Yes. Again, I'm here for my entertainment, not for yours. I'm much like the pilot of the airplane. See, you don't want a pilot that's worried about you. You want a pilot that's worried about himself. See, if I go home, you go home. If something happens and I fix the emergency, you benefit from it. You benefit from my being selfish. I'm entertaining myself. I'm taking myself home. I'm making sure I live. I'm not worried about you in the back of the plane. You get to come along just because my self-preservation runs high. And you have your finger on the mute button. You can throw me off at any time. So how is it that I'm manipulating you when you ultimately control what happens?
Now, Debbie is bringing up the past. I did have a show called Inflammatory Talk.
Yes, it was good.
You actually enjoyed it.
You are being more true to yourself. This stoicism thing is just not you. It's not working.
You might be right.
No, not that I might be. Everybody agrees with me except for Dennis, because Dennis would never agree with me.
Did I criticize any Anderson films? If it's Paul Thomas Anderson, I like his films. But you being correct, perhaps I don't see it, but you might be absolutely correct.
I'll bring Debbie on. Put the link in there again for her, and let's hear what she has to say.
Debbie, this link is for you. If you want to come on, you can go ahead and say your piece if you'd like to. I'll also, you know what? I'm gonna put the link in Discord for her.
Discord.
Yes.
If this is just therapeutic for you, why don't you just write a diary?
Why not put it out there? Maybe I think other people have ideas.
Other people have ideas, yes. Not all good.
You might be right.
You say that. It's very non-committal. You're not saying that I am right. You're not saying that I'm not right.
Okay, I'm just gonna put one here.
You need to get on board and go in for the big kill like the rest of us.
This is only for Debbie, so it's got to be Debbie in the thing. If anyone else chooses, I'll put another one.
How is it? Wait a minute. How can you put a link in only for Debbie?
Well, no, I mean the invitation is only for Debbie.
Oh, I see.
And she says it will take about 5 minutes, so we have to fill the air with about 5 minutes of jibber jabber.
Jibber jabber? How about some bloviation?
Let's go.
Which I'll leave that to you.
Yes.
Now, did you have a topic for today?
Well, yeah, my topic was that I'm going to be conquering my fears.
Which ones?
I'm going to keep those private, but I do have them.
Well, you're obviously not going to conquer your fear of YouTube because you're still cowering in fear from YouTube. When I think it's pretty clear that the woman who runs YouTube is a loathsome creature.
Yes, but again, I'm in her house and I have to obey her rules. And I'm not doing so because I want to. I'm doing so because there's an alternative called I can break the rules and then be kicked off of YouTube, or I can obey the rules and continue being on YouTube.
Right. With a stunted show.
Yes.
So why, when you're not even being true to yourself with this broadcast, why would anybody want to listen to it?
I don't know.
People like to listen to me grill you.
Perhaps they do.
They like to hear the sizzle, the sizzling.
Yes. So Debbie, I've sent a thing in for your on your both a link in the chat room on this show and on Discord. The invitation is for Debbie.
Only Debbie?
Only Debbie.
Where does Mandy live?
I don't know. And I don't want to talk about it. Well, why do I care where Mandy lives? It's me and you now.
Is it?
That's correct.
Are there other people listening?
I don't know. I mean, yes, there are. But, and I'm reading some of their comments. Mandy has not put a comment out on the board. And why do I care where she lives?
Have you given some thought to a different channel?
Yes.
Debbie's on her way.
Good.
I have a feeling this is going to backfire for you.
How
She's
is
not coming to your rescue.
perhaps?
Are you going to remind her of her not having dinner with you?
Wasn't going to cross my mind, no.
It wasn't going to cross your mind? So you thought about it?
Not in a while, no.
Well, I heard you mention it the other day, so it's been a shorter time than a while.
Perhaps.
I call those coasters.
What do you call coasters?
That, bringing up the past all the time.
That's a good point. I don't think I want to be one of those, but perhaps I am.
What is Joe? Where is Joe? Why is he not here? Why is he on the Shift Happens show every Friday night?
I don't know.
With his new best buddy, Gigi.
I don't know. So my last show last night on the JQ was solid, only far too short to discuss the topic. I don't think you listened to my show last night.
I don't even know what a JQ is.
The Jewish question.
Oh, there's an abbreviation for that. I didn't realize. What is the Jewish question?
You should listen to the show.
Well, I know that Jews ask questions. Is that what you're referring to?
Now, well, the Jewish question is, is there a? I think it goes to the elders of Zion and other.
Whoa! What was that? What?
The elder. Well, I mean, there's the elders of Zion, and there's the fact is, are Jews trying to? There's always a conspiracy theory on our Jews trying to destroy Western culture.
Why would Jews want to destroy Western culture? See, You use the term Jews, much like everybody uses the term vaccine. There's more than one. And yet everybody talks about the vaccine as if they're referring to Kleenex.
Well, basically, I talked about the Jews on my show, the last show that I did last night, and I did it with Joe. And I played a video of the history debunked, and I talked.
How long was your video?
The video was about 6 to 7 minutes, and my show was about a half an hour.
Why do you play videos? Nobody likes that.
I thought it was rather interesting. It was called History Debunked, the JQ, and Stoic Calm.
It was. Okay. Again, why do you play videos on your show? Nobody likes it.
I only played one. I usually don't play videos. This was an exception to the rule.
You do play videos. You, when you have the opportunity, will sit there with your mouth agape watching a video that nobody knows why you're playing it.
As I said before, on average, I don't. There are times that I do, but they are the exception to the rule. And as Mr. Solutions once said, the exception proves the rule.
Well, Mr. Solution tucked tail and he ran. And he ran from the Jew, the one and only angry Jew.
Yes.
Yelping like a stricken dog, yelping like a dog in pain as he ran from the Jew. You know, you hold Mr. Solution in high esteem, and yet you love to rail about how awful I am. But I took your idol, your hero, and I sliced and diced him into little tiny pieces. So tiny he couldn't put them back together to mount a defense or an offense. So he just ran.
Yeah, that's true. And Mr. Solution was ruined by his ego. And ego is man's most strongest narcotic. And he got proven wrong, and then basically he ran away. I'm still waiting for Debbie. She said she'll be here. She's almost here, and she's firing up.
Now, do you think I did the right thing by leaving the United States and removing myself from the nonsense that goes on? See, I haven't heard a police siren, just like we just heard, in years.
How does your? I mean, like, as a single man, it would not be that bad. But how does your son feel about? I mean, and if you don't mind me prying, and I won't further the question.
Pry away. You may pry.
How does your son feel about living in a foreign in a country he's not accustomed to, in a language he does not speak?
Well, he reads it, but it's his country.
But it's
He
not
has an
his,
advantage. What do you mean?
it's not,
It's not his what? It's his
but
country.
isn't he an American?
Yes.
And isn't his culture, like, wasn't he primarily raised in American culture?
Yes.
So aren't the customs that he's there, aren't they kind of foreign to him?
No, we live like Americans. See, I tell every woman I'm with that outside of the condo is Thailand. Inside the condo is America. I do things the American way. I don't do things the Thai way.
I'm assuming that you also perhaps do things or try to do things the American way when you are outside of the condo.
Well, I certainly am not going to think like a tie. I don't think like a tie. Most of them don't think. They're human doings, not human beings. Most of them wish to be told what to do. I, on the other hand, do not.
I would say that that's perhaps most of humanity.
Well, and that's a shame because people should think, but the ties are taught not to think, and that is taught to them early on in the way that the education system here is set up.
Yes,
Did you get distracted?
a tad.
Yeah. You really like that Donning Armour. Tell me why you like him so much. Tell me what's good about him.
He's got a very good voice for broadcasting.
Okay. I have a better voice. Tell me what's good about him.
I think he has some good insights.
Into what? You have the ability for some reason for speaking in such generalities that you can't be held down to any specific statement. So you didn't make a specific statement. Why don't you tell me specifically something that's good about it?
I think he comes in with some rather good insights, and he comes with good questions for me. And there are times that I do enjoy his presence. Now we do have Debbie Daly. Debbie Daly, you are on the stream with Howard. How are you, Debbie?
I'm fine. How are you? Can you guys hear me?
You are
Absolutely.
coming in crystal clear.
Okay. What's going on? What are we fighting about?
You know, it's been so many topics that now Howard thinks that I am a failed Stoic. Would you agree with him, Debbie?
I think the fact that you obsess about Stoicism is a little bit odd to me. I mean, why does that matter so much to you about Stoicism? Are you bordering on being a fanatical maniac or what?
Yes, I want to be a maniac. I want to be a maniac. Debbie, I'm a fanatical maniac about.
Well, I mean, what are you holding back there? I mean, it's like,
You know what? I have a lot of flaws. And
everybody has a lot of flaws, babe. I mean, who cares? You were with me for 10 years. Don't worry about so much stuff. I understand that you have now stopped deleting your shows. I think that came from me. Thank you very much. And now I'm here to tell you, stop being scared of things. Stand up to the Jew if you want to. I'll stand up to him. Fuck you, Jew. I'm joking.
yeah, I mean, I think that I strive for self improvement, and
But you're not improving.
Jew.
Well, no. Well, is that not true?
Well,
He's getting worse.
he's getting worse. Come on, Brian. You got to think that's funny. He's being funny. You know he is.
well, I wouldn't want to have him as my doctor at my bedside manner.
Yeah.
He would turn. He sounds like an individual that would turn a toothache into terminal brain cancer.
Yeah.
His operation on you immediately. 1-800 abuse me. Yeah, I mean, look. I mean, Howard is there as an opponent. He comes on every time. I mean, he says this is an abortion of a show. Yet he comes on, but he comes on to primarily amuse himself, and to a degree, it's a tad abuse. You know, it is a tad abusive, but he is an opponent of mine, and he's.
I'm your therapist, Brian.
There we go. Yeah, you're fired, Howard. I'm hiring malpractice. If you were my actual therapist, I think there would be so many malpractice suits against you. It would be unbelievable. But
Well, wait a second. Why would it be malpractice if you're improving?
You said I'm not improving, Howard.
Exactly. And now you tell me that it would be malpractice, which means you think you're not improving.
Well, I think I'm improving on my own. I don't think that you necessarily, well, you necessarily do help. I mean, a lot of ways you try to disrupt and just disobey my rules because you are not a rule follower.
Disobey your rules. What world are you living in?
Brian, let me tell you what I found out about YouTube. They don't listen to your shows. They have computers that run all the shows, and they're listening for certain words. Okay. And they're listening for uh, words like Ivor, whatever,
Okay.
you know. Okay. They're listening for that. They're listening for the word cure and the other virus mentioned in the same sentence. That's what they're listening for. They don't want misinformation to be delivered. Now, recently, I had one of my shows that was removed off of YouTube, and it was called You're Being Hoodwinked by Your Government. Now, it wasn't the title that got it deleted. It was the fact that in the show, I said, so what are we supposed to do? Start shooting um blanks, to people. And I think that's what got it. But they said in the letter that it was because I was giving misinformation I was giving medical advice or something like that. It was me and Goose and a couple of other people. And for some reason, they just now caught the show and they said it's being removed off of YouTube. And, they have a lot of shows to listen to. And I really don't think that just saying certain words or certain cuss words or like that are going to get you knocked off of YouTube. I'm just trying to alleviate some of the pain and some of the fear that you're going through here. I think that's a lot to do with it. I think that's a major part of your issue is your fear of being knocked off of YouTube. And
Now, Debbie, how come you have stopped doing as many shows as you
I
would?
just don't have time. I'm at home today because I don't know why. I'm just at home, and I just don't have time. I did a lot of them, and there's a lot out there to listen to, and I'm trying to find the excuse me. Oh, I know where I can find it. It says right here that I have a community strike and that I'm now in the yellow part, whatever you want to call it, the yellow, and that it was because of this show that I'm obviously not going to play it, but it was a show that was called You're Being Hoodwinked by Your Government. And it was a pretty intense show. We talked about a lot of issues. And I don't know. I just don't want you to be so scared of YouTube. That's all it is. I just don't want you to be scared. Channel violation. Active community status is under warning. And it was about you are being hoodwinked by the media and your government. It says appeal rejected. I sent an appeal yesterday. There's appeal rejected. But it says reason medical misinformation. And I have so many strikes from YouTube, Brian. I cannot tell you how many I have. Probably 500 of them. And you have to get what's called a channel violation, which is a bigger deal than just getting a strike. So just trying to help you out there. That's all. I just don't want you to be I don't want you to be scared of them.
I'm not, I'm not necessarily scared, but those things aren't important to me, and I enjoy being on YouTube, and I'm primarily here for primarily personal growth. And if people gain something out of it, then good. If they don't, then at least I'm gaining something for myself. And I am diabetic. I do have high blood pressure, and I want to be able to take care of that in the best way I can. And
Hold on. I have to interrupt that last thing. What does being diabetic and having high blood pressure have to do with YouTube and getting thrown off it?
well, for me,
Nothing. He's just making excuses. What happens when you get a strike? When a strike is issued, you will be told via email that you can choose to have notifications sent through other ways, blah, 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 blah. We're going to tell you what was removed, which policies it violated, and how to fix your channel. We understand that mistakes happen and you don't mean to violate our policies. That's when the first violation is typically only a warning. First strike, if we find your content doesn't follow our policies for a second time, you get a strike. So that means you will not be allowed to upload videos for 1 week. Second strike, if you get a second strike within the same 90-day period, you will not be allowed to post content for 2 weeks. Third strike, 3 strikes in the same 90-day period will result in your channel being permanently removed. Now, that's hard to do, Brian. That's really hard to do to get, and they're only doing it within 90 days.
Bet you I could do it in 5.
Well, they're mostly concerned with putting out information that doesn't agree with what they say. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I mean, it's
Yes. Bill Gates has just come out and stated that Omicron is a vaccine. Unfortunately, he said. He used the word unfortunately, sadly. No, he used the word sadly. Omicron is a better vaccine than the vaccine. Now, for some reason, Bill Gates, who has no medical bona fides that I know of, is able to say that with impunity, and doctors are not. So that just shows you how
it's
screwy
pretty
things
hard
are.
to get a community strike, Brian. That's not what we get, because I've got probably, and I'm not lying when I say this, I probably have 300 YouTube strikes from, my music I play. I play all kinds of music that's copyright. They ignore those. A community strike comes when you seriously make a statement that goes against what this company, YouTube, believes in, and they will throw you off for that. That's it. And that's hard to get. That's pretty hard to get. I mean, I was pretty ballsy that night when I did that show. I mean,
I've gotten I was restricted for 2 weeks for having
what?
it was vaccine. It was over vaccine. Vaccine. Not vaccine hesitancy. It was vaccine exemptions. I forget what they call, but religious exemptions for, and that was given. That was we were given a community strike, and
that's mostly what they're watching for, because they are far left and they believe wholeheartedly in vaccines and stuff like that. They believe wholeheartedly, even though other people do it and talk about stuff like that. It's really what they watch for, to be honest with you. Because I've had shows where I've done nothing but played copyrighted music and they haven't even given me a strike. They've given me what's called a violation or something. It's a different thing that you get, but I have so many of those, I lost count. But yeah, you have to just be careful when you talk about vaccines. And just because they hear the word vaccine on your show, the computer's only going to pick that up. It's not going to pick up other things that I'm saying about that. It's just going to pick that up.
Copyrighted material only prevents you from being able to monetize your show. It doesn't affect, it's not a strike in any form. I'm not sure why Brian can't get that through his thick damn
Brian, I have so many of those. You would die if you saw how many of those I have.
Exactly. They don't do anything. You just can't monetize, which you don't do anyways, Brian.
To be monetized, you have to have 10,000 followers.
Right.
Before you can even say, can I be monetized?
You got triple that, don't you?
Brian?
No, Debbie. I'm telling you, Debbie, you've got a lot. Don't you have? You must have over 10,000 subs somewhere.
I don't know. I'd have to look. But you also have to have so many listening hours, which is thousands and thousands and thousands of listening hours before you can even think about getting monetized. So if your goal is to be monetized, Jewish producers telling you the truth.
Well, now, Debbie, will you admit that I was at one time the most popular conservative show on Blog Talk Radio?
No, I will not admit to that. Because you weren't. Oh my God. They had the ratings right there after you got off the air, meaning me and you both. And there was never anything about you being the number one. You weren't even in the thing. You weren't even in the lineup. Goofy.
Good God.
You were. Don't you remember they had them posted? They had them posted for everybody to see. Goofy. I mean, it was funny. It was okay, but I really think that I really think that you're
Look at the Jew.
where is he? He's on webcam?
There he is.
I'm not watching the show. I'm over here looking up something on the other computer.
I'm waiting for him to screw up.
Wait.
I'm
Why
waiting.
did he just put glasses on? Why did he just put glasses on?
I don't know. I'm not watching the show. Let me go turn this one on. Hold on.
I'm trying to copy you, Howard.
These are my computer glasses. You are never going to have 10,000 listeners.
I'm telling the truth. That's exactly what you have to get monetized. Oh, hi, Jew.
You're never going to be monetized. So what is this irrational fear?
Come on, Brian. He's funny. Give it up. He loves you.
Well, you laugh. Sometimes I laugh.
Sometimes.
Look at your glasses. Why do you have those glasses?
It's hurting your show that you're self-censoring yourself for no reason. You're trying to raise some sort of, I don't know, Pollyanna kind of.
Yes,
I don't know what it is.
We are your two best friends. Me and JP will be the only people at your funeral. Okay.
Yes.
And we're telling you, this is unfounded fear that you have of YouTube, dear.
It's pitiful.
It's pitiful. And besides that, if they're going to take you out for something stupid, for saying something, why wouldn't you just say it and give them the finger and move on anyways? Who cares?
You just go back to Spreaker or Blog Talk.
Jesus, there's so many of these. Copyright claim on let's talk about sex. Copyright claim on hanging out with the bloviator. Copyright claim on powwow with me and Liz. Copyright claim on, it's just every freaking show I did got a copyright claim. There's millions of them. I'm sitting here looking at them, millions. And the only thing I got struck for, community strike, was misguided medical information for whatever that is. Anyway.
And I don't know if you
appeal denied. I
don't know if you've all noticed, but the pandemic's over.
Bill Gates just the other day was interviewed. The man with an honorable, I don't know, what is that? An honorable degree for in medicine, but really has no.
Whoa, from where?
He was given some sort of honorable degree or something. Whatever, it's meaningless.
He's the one making money off of this stuff, off of the vaccine.
A lot of money, but he came on and he said that he is promising another wave of something or whatever, some sort of variant coming, and that just scares people. And then of course they got to create this other false flag event over there in Russia, Ukraine. So yeah, there's always going to be stuff, Howard. I don't think it's over, but I hear you what you're saying. Right, for now it seems like it's kind of over.
Joe, I wanted to ask you a question, since you've taken anger management and you've taught anger management. If one conquers their fear, can they then conquer their anger as well?
Do you have a fear of being angry?
You never know who's gonna be standing in front of you at the supermarket and just lay out a big fart. And I don't know what upsets people. I'm always going to constantly be working on my anger because I'm going to know Howard probably until the day he croaks.
Yeah. We'll be at your funeral, Howard. I don't know if I will. I don't know if I'm going to fly out to Thailand, but if you bury yourself in Philadelphia, I might just show up, get a plane ride, Pittsburgh.
Look at his face. Look at the juice.
Why would anybody bury themselves in Philadelphia?
Your birthplace.
And
Well, where are you gonna? When you croak, where do you want to be buried?
it's not up to me.
Maybe I'll keep a snippet of your ashes, and I'll say, "I got you."
Me and JP will smoke his ashes.
There you go. I think that we're entering an impasse, and I'm fasting, and I'm here to conquer my fear, also conquering my anger at the same time. Anything to add before I end this show?
Wait. First of all, the word impasse, what does that mean?
It means, for me, it means over. It may mean something else.
You used impasse for over?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? If it was wrong,
And you're fasting. What does that have to do with anything?
this show is going to be over.
You couldn't have been any more incorrect in your use of the word impasse.
I think I sometimes wonder if English is not his first language.
Well, having no obvious escape does not mean that it's over. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Having no obvious escape. Jewish producer, you're so stupid.
Tough life, right, Debbie? Come on.
Yes, it is. Life sucks, and then you die. That's it.
Okay, so the show is going to be coming to an end.
Wait a minute. I want to ask you a question about a couple of movies.
Okay, go ahead.
What do you think about the new Elvis movie coming out?
The trailer looks pretty good. What do you think of it, Debbie?
I think they could have not. I don't think they could have chosen a person that doesn't look like Elvis more than this idiot. It's like the guy that played the lead singer to Queen. What was his name?
Oh, he looked the part.
Oh, he was horrible. His teeth, he would talk like this. It was horrible.
Yeah, but that's how his teeth really were.
I understand that, but they had his exaggerated.
It really was exaggerated.
Oh, God, what do I want to do about
This conversation about biopics, they're awful. I can't stand them.
I think they completely missed everything on the Elvis movie. According to the trailer, it looks like it's just going to be horrible.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I disagree. I thought it looked fairly well. And Nemo says,
What?
now,
Why do we care what Nemo says?
conquer
Why
your
don't you just put it up there and let people read it? It's like la dee da.
What does Nemo say? What steps are you taking, Brian, to conquer your fear? Are you practicing zazen? I don't even know what that is, but he always asks about zazen, he or she. You will soon realize that there is nothing you could do in regards to anything. Just let it go. Just observe. Just be. I like that. Just observe. I've told you that.
All right. So the show is coming to an end. The show is coming to an end. I will leave with anyone.
You keep saying that. Why?
Because
what are you afraid of?
It's coming to an end.
You're going to go.
What
eat
is your?
something. You're going to go eat. I know you.
No, I'm not. That's incorrect. The show is coming to an end. Anything to say before I end the show? Any last words, Joey? Howard?
Is this a firing squad for the show?
I'm just going to end by saying that cats do not have human teeth.
Okay, Howard, do you have anything to add?
Yet I've seen some fish that do.
Very well. Debbie, before I end this show?
A wise man once said, "You have nothing to fear but fear itself."
Very well.
Do you put your ear up to the door when you exit the apartment?
Man you up, dear. We're gonna man you up.
Guys, like, subscribe,
No.
Nobody likes and nobody ever subscribes.
and vote it down. Hate the show.
Really, you should go back to
We had
Spreaker.
5 new subs last month, Howard. How dare you?
How many?
Okay, what I want you to do is, if you really hate the show, send me all of your hate and dislike to me.
Inaction breeds fear. Remember that I said that.
There we go. That is beautiful.
How does somebody send you all their hate?
Well,
You're such a mess.
okay, Howard, I correct myself. That's why you're here, but you're not appreciated because, well, anyway.
Don't delete this show or I'll come out there and kill you. See?
Good enough. Okay, post
But
all
don't
your.
not appreciate it. I appreciate Howard.
There you go.
Right.
Okay, post all of your disapproval and what you dislike about the show. Please do so. And
Post
if
it
you
where?
anything of Howard, please
Oh, wait. Post it where?
on the page. So leave a comment. Post.
You take the shows down more regularly than you keep them up. Why would somebody waste time?
All right, Howard. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Visit our website, Transparency and Merit. Also, visit our Rumble page. Thank you.
Rumble